Upsets, upsets, upsets. This is why we watch college football and why it is so special. Want to find out who is the recipient of this upset today and why it's historic? Find out next on Gridiron Gab Triple Option. Welcome back, all you gabbers. Thank you for joining us on this special edition of Gridiron Gab Triple Option. Of course, this is Mr. CeeLo here, trying to get her done because normally I don't do this, but guys, you have to make an exception when the number one team in the land gets knocked off. Yes, you heard it. Vanderbilt takes down Alabama for its first ever defeat of a number one foe. 40-35 was the final as the Vanderbilt Commodores came out and they had a plan and they stuck to it. And the big thing that I looked at, guys, you won't believe me if I tell you. You will not believe me if I tell you. The total yards turned out to be 394 Alabama to 418 for Vanderbilt. But this is what won the game, guys. Everybody's going to say this game was won based on the one pick six that was thrown. No, there was a fumble out there, and there were two turnovers. Of course, Vanderbilt won the turnover battle 2-0. But this game had all the markings. You've got pick sixes, scoops ups. You got a crazy, ridiculous catch and run for a touchdown by the 17-year-old sensation and a spam sandwich. What? Call it disgusting, call it what you want. Anyway, that was where I looked at the number that what made the difference in this ball game, you guys. Listen to this graphic, you guys. Vanderbilt had the football 42 minutes to 18 minutes for the Alabama Crimson Tide. So basically what it boiled down to is Alabama had a lot of big plays and did not have the football very long. But Vanderbilt, they had a plan. And this is something that's very, very difficult to do against an Alabama team, or at least during the last almost 20 years. Alabama was outrushed 166 to 84. Wow. Yeah, that is just absolutely unheard of when you think about the Alabama Crimson Tide. Nobody outrushes the Crimson Tide. But this is very huge, not only for the Vanderbilt program, but for the national stage. You know, just last week, and I said that I didn't think Alabama needed to be the number one team. And this is what happens. Now everybody's talking about it, and to me, it's you put a team in a bad situation. I'm just going to be downright honest with you. Too many times when we look at a situation and we say, okay, this is what this team is all about. And I looked at Alabama, and Alabama's got great big plays. But the Vanderbilt Commodores came out, and they basically, in a nutshell, basically said, hey, this is how a lot of these teams operate. They under the pretense that we're going to just go in there and stop everything. And no, it doesn't work like that. It really doesn't. It does not work like that. And when you get a team that is very good with misdirection, as the Commodores look today, they looked exceptionally well groomed for this matchup. And I was thoroughly impressed with how they came out and they ran the football. But there's another stat that we've got to look at. Vanderbilt was 12 out of 18 on third downs. They did a phenomenal job keeping themselves in third and shorts and third in situations where they can manage the pickups. And that is so crucial, you guys. And I thought that was an immense stat that was a telling stat for the entire game. But to me, I think Diego Pavia was 16 of 20, 252. And then you have him adding an extra 56 yards, giving a different look to Cedric Alexander, who had 64 yards on the ground and 2 scores. He well distributed the football today. Eli Stowers had 6 grabs for 113 yards. What I really looked at that was really impressive to watch was how they moved the football and they used up all 52 yards of the field, as well as being able to make Alabama go from sideline to sideline. They realized they didn't have as much speed, but they also were going to utilize it to the best of their ability. This is one of those games that just did not go right from Alabama. From the interception that Jalen Milroe had, you could almost tell there was going to be some upset brewing in the air. And I said it on my show, but I didn't say it about this team, that looking ahead could be dangerous. And then you hear a lot of people saying, coming off a big win. I remember hearing somebody on CBS Sports. It sure wasn't Danny Cannell. But you don't see, given that Vanderbilt, and listen, I didn't give Vanderbilt much of a chance to win this game myself. But I did say this game was in Vanderbilt. So, but I did not go out and claim that this was going to be a game that they were going to lose. And honestly, it was a game that went back and forth. And when it counted the most, I think this is what's really going to get Kalen DeBoer and his team. He's going to look back at this game and say, we couldn't get off the field when we needed to. Could we honestly say that this team was emotionally whipped? I mean, you look at this game and it was 23-14 at the half. 23-14 at the half. And they looked like Georgia did last week. They looked like the team that came in and couldn't figure out what was up, what was down. And I'm going to be honest with you, can the Crimson Tide bounce back? Because, like I said, Ryan Williams was terrific again. He had that 58-yarder. Look, I'm going to say this to anybody that plays Alabama. If this team gets behind, you better double team this guy. I don't care. Let Jalen Milroe beat you. Do not let that rookie 17... Why did I call him a rookie? Don't let that 17-year-old kid get behind you. Don't even let him get even with you. Safety, I don't care if they got 3 guys on this side. You shade that side of the field if he's over there. That's got to be the rule from now on. You cannot leave this guy one-on-one. Period. He makes it look easy. And he's a little bitty guy. But he makes it look so easy. It's almost like he thrives in these situations. It's like he has a magnet for the end zone. And it just pulls him there, pulls him there, pulls him there. But as I said, Kalen DeBoer, he's got to get his guys. I mean, it reminds me of the Notre Dame game. It really does. I mean, you get a huge win, and then you come out and you just use the bed. That's all I can. That's the only thing I can say about it. But as I said, there were some big plays on the Vanderbilt defensive side. As I said, the interception. Surprisingly, the Commodores came up with 4 sacks, and the Tide came up with 7 sacks in this game. But still, it wasn't enough. I mean, when you can't say enough about how great this Vanderbilt defense opportunistically was. Because you look at 35 points and you say, oh, that's not really good. But then you look at how opportunistic this team was. And they were. They were so opportunistic to the point that they were scoring points when they needed to. We can look at the penalties. Bama had 6 for 57. Vanderbilt had 3 for 29. But there ain't really much you can say. I mean, it's just a situation where Vanderbilt won the turnover battle. And Vanderbilt got first downs. What they kept doing was they kept making the game longer and making it longer for them and shorter for the Alabama. They made it shorter because look at that. They scored 35 points with 18 minutes of football. Vanderbilt came in with a game plan. They exercised it just about perfectly. And it worked. Whether it was the misdirection, and I loved the way. I'm going to tell you, Paviva's going to get his flowers. Pavia's going to get his flowers, and regardless of what anybody says, this was a team effort, but of course like I said, he's going to get his flowers. He had some great plays, but I'm going to say it like this: that that Vanderbilt defense, they really did what they had to do. They made some plays when they had to, and honestly, they deserved the win. I mean, this is a perfect example of what happens when this is what happens when you come out here thinking you can win. And I don't blame Kalen DeBoer. I think at the end of the day, it's just like people want to blame Marcus Freeman over in South Bend when you get to a certain point and you lose. I think you're dealing with 18, 19, 20-year-old kids who don't really understand that you got to come out every week. This was Vanderbilt's Super Bowl, or their national championship, if you will. And they won it. 40-35 Vanderbilt, as the Crimson Tide under Kalen DeBoer get to the number 1 position for the first time under his reign, and they fall the very same week. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments about the Alabama Crimson Tide falling to the Vanderbilt Commodores. Also, large gab out to the fans over in Vanderbilt. They were great. They harassed this team a lot, and as I've always said, a ruckus crowd is very difficult to win in front of. But also comment down below. Also go to Gridiron Gab Triple Option for the poll that I had out for today's game, and also let me know what you thought about today's game. But until the next time, same Gab channel, same Gab platform.